My name is Jennifer. Originally, I was Jennifer Long, and when I was 18, I got married and became Jennifer Kelly. I go by Jenny. I'm 40 years old. I'm from Nashville, Tennessee, and that's where 99% of my life has been spent. Um, I've moved away a few times, but I've always gravitated back. I'll retract that 95% of my life. Um, I've had a very traumatic, hard life. Um, I've dealt with many different traumas throughout my life that still affect me to this day. And I feel like if I can share my story with whoever wants to hear it, that it might help one person, and it helping that one person get through whatever they're going through or have been through will be all that I need to fulfill me. Knowing I helped one person will fulfill me. And I know if I can help one person by sharing my story, that it's going to help more than one person. So it's all the more the merrier. But when I was 5 to 6 years old, I remember my mother locking me and my older only sibling, which was a brother, out of the house in the summertime. We were hot and thirsty. Our grandfather was the maintenance man of that apartment complex, and we were locked out. And we went and told him we were locked out. He told us to stay away from the apartment because he didn't know what was going on in there, that we were locked out. We hid where he couldn't see us and watched the apartment, and several men flowed out of the apartment. And as an adult, I can only imagine what was going on in there. I knew it wasn't right with um at that time. I knew it wasn't right. And I believe we told my dad. Um my mother tried to bribe us. If you don't tell your dad I've been drinking, I'll clean your room for you so you don't get in trouble and stuff like that. And then it came to my mother and father separating. There was a argument, and my father got kicked in the groin, and I know my mom threatened to call the police on him saying she got assaulted, and my dad offering to call them for her or something. And I remember my dad eventually having to go get booked over the situation. It wasn't that night. And we stayed with my dad initially. And my brother was always in the custody of my dad from the divorce to aging into an adult. Um, my mother tricked my father into signing over custody when I was in third or fourth grade. But my mother was already with someone else when her and my dad separated, and that was a lot of the reason they separated. Um, during the time that I was strictly with my dad, I was really struggling. And I didn't see my mom for a good bit. I remember it being like probably at least a couple months. And I remember one time her following behind the school bus. Like she really just had to see us on the school bus or something. I don't know. And um then I remember when my mom first left, we were staying with babysitters and stuff, and they would let us stay in our apartment and just come check on us. Because me and my brother were in like second, maybe he was in third, I don't know. Um, he's almost 16 months older than me, but he got held back in kindergarten, so it seemed like for a while we were in the same grade. Um, but then my mom came back around and was babysitting us or taking care of us while my dad worked two jobs. Um, I remember freezing blow pop lollipops with the chewing gum in the middle and throwing them at her boyfriend's head. I hated him. And then my mom tricked my dad into signing over custody by saying it was like a field trip paper, and he just signed it. He didn't read it. He never signed another document as long as I've known without thoroughly reading it after that. The only reason my mother wanted custody of me was to be able to receive AFDC, which was state issued child support, basically, and food stamps. Um, and then, like, if she spent money on me, I would get like in trouble, and she would even tell me like my dad had to pay her back, even though it was a check for me. Um, she wanted that money for alcohol, and when I was probably 11, 10, maybe even 9, I was between 9 and 11, she started beating on me. And, well, she beat on me till the last day or day before the last day of seventh grade. And it started in, I'd say, fourth grade. She beat on me all the time. She became a raging alcoholic. Um, she's broke my tailbone. She's picked me up off the ground by my hair being in a bun on the top of my head. Um, she did a lot of cruel things to me and for no reason at all. The very last time that she ever beat me, my brother had walked in the house and I was screaming, "Help, help." And he just turned around and walked out and didn't want no part of trying to help me. A lot of the reason that she beat me is she said it was my fault that her boyfriend turned husband molested me from 7 to 9 years old. She got drunk and threw my bed down the train tracks across the street from where we lived because um her boyfriend wouldn't get out of my room so I could go to bed. He was in my room, which was the living room, doing a jigsaw puzzle, and she got mad, and so she threw my bed out. And I told her I didn't want to sleep in the bed with him. And she said, "You'll be on one side, I'll be in the middle, he'll be on the other." But I woke up all the time with his hand coming out of my underwear. And that was not a good feeling. And it was scary. I didn't understand it. And so that was a lot of the reason that she said she beat me. The last time she beat me, I ended up kicking her in the nose. And to my recollection, she had to go to the hospital or even worse, have surgery. I don't remember which, but I know I hurt her. Um, I kicked her as hard as I possibly could in the face just to get her off of me. The back of my head was hitting into the corner of a baseboard heater, and it hurt so bad. I was black and blue all on my stomach, and that was the last time she ever beat me. And even after that, her husband at that time grabbed my breast as like a 14, 15-year-old teenager. And I told her, and she said, "Smack the hell out of him," and nothing more. And that was perfectly normal. And that's where I'll end this chapter.